Huh. According to my YouTube, and me writing it down in the script, it's been like 3 months since I last did the "Hey there" thing. So...
Jack's back of Macca des. Castlevania Season 2 came out today, and in preparation, I've been rewatching the first season with friends who have either never seen it before, or who simply just want to recap what happened. Seeing it again after a year and a half has me super hyped for whatever Season 2 has in store, and I cannot wait to see how the best NES Castlevania game is further expanded upon.
Too bad I worked until midnight last night, and working until 1 in the morning tonight, have just enough time in between waking up and going to work to upload this video, and I might have enough time to get myself a bowl of cereal. Oh no. Not to mention Red Dead Redemption 2 is a thing happening today, which, by the way, I'll be hopefully streaming this Saturday, October 27th. Subscribe to see when that happens, a day after everyone else has already started playing it, or have already started watching other people stream it.
So before I go and work my ass off pushing carts around, let's take a look back at the first season of Castlevania and appreciate just how phenomenal this whole thing is. When I was rewatching the show with my friends, the first thing to stand out above everything else is the backgrounds. This may seem like a weird thing to start with, but these opening few shots are absolutely beautiful. Everything about them, from the composition, to the lighting, to the level of detail, is amazing, and it remains this good throughout. The opening scene instantly sets both the tone and the level of quality the viewer should expect from the show. The very first character you see is arguably the most important one, the soon-to-be wife of Vlad Dracula Tepesh, Lisa. In the games, she's never really seen much at all, only really appearing for a bit in Symphony of the Night, and even then, it's really just a succubus impersonating her. Lisa Tepesh is a character we've never really seen much of, and while we only know her for 7 minutes in the first episode, you can instantly see why Dracula would come to love this woman. Dracula sees the world as one that would prefer ignorant bliss instead of the cold hard truth. He has been hated by man for his use of the dark arts as well as his interest in the sciences. Since Castlevania usually takes place in Europe, it's not surprising that the people of 1455 Wallachia would be so open to the idea of science and dark magic being one and the same. And that's what makes Lisa different. Lisa wants to work with Dracula and use his vast amount of knowledge to help those in need, something the humanity he knows wouldn't do. She cares about others to the point that when those same people she cares for are burning her at the stake, she begs for Dracula to forgive them. But most importantly, she's unafraid. His attempts to scare her away don't work. She stabbed one of his bats, for heaven's sake! Of course he developed this natural attraction to a woman who is the exact opposite of everything he has come to learn about humans. In just 7 minutes of screen time, Lisa was transformed from what was basically just a plot point in the original game into an endearing character that one could easily see taming Dracula the way she does. Another notable aspect of the show are the performances. For this project, some actually notable Hollywood actors were tapped to play the roles. And god damn do they give a shit about their roles in a fucking video game cartoon. Richard Armitage, who had previously played Thorin Oakenshield in the Hobbit trilogy, plays Trevor Belmont and does an absolutely ace job of it. However, the best performance in the entire show is that of Dracula, played by the motherfucking saint of killers himself, Graham McTavish. While not present in the latter 3/4 of the season, the entire first episode is dedicated to setting up Dracula's character and motivations. And my god, does McTavish just kill it! He expertly conveys every aspect of Dracula's character, from his arrogant dismissal of Lisa for being a human, to his seething rage towards the people of Wallachia for not just killing Lisa, but for celebrating the anniversary of her death. Dracula didn't need to be in any other episode of the season, as this first one alone perfectly portrays his character as someone who is empathetic and likable, as well as the absolute horror you'd expect. Now thus far, I've only really talked about Lisa and Dracula. This isn't to suggest the rest of the cast isn't fantastic in their own respects, however. It's just that if I went into every character, this video would end up being way too long for my liking. So I'm just gonna stick with the characters I'm most impressed with. What I will say is that Trevor is a great protagonist, and that basically every scene with the Bishop is great. As of writing this, I've seen Season 1 3 times. Once when it came out, again about a year ago when I was showing my friend, and most recently this past Saturday when some friends and I got together to prepare for Season 2. No matter how many times I've seen it though, it always amazes me just how gory, horrific, and dark the show is. Though I honestly shouldn't be surprised when I knew the show was influenced by famous animes such as Berserk and Akira, both of which have their own share of dark and grotesque moments. Castlevania has always been a horror-themed series, but never has it been as fully realized as this. Dracula's invasion at the end of episode 1 is one of the best moments in the show for me, as it feels ripped straight out of Berserk's Falcon of the Millennium Empire arc, an arc filled with some of the grossest imagery in that series. Castlevania isn't all doom and gloom, however. The darkness of its imagery also makes its way into the comedic elements. There's a great balance between the seriousness and the lightheartedness that honestly reminds me somewhat of Avatar. Except, with dead babies and corpse piles. Animation-wise, I once again can't help but gush. Castlevania has some of the best animation I've seen to come out of a modern American cartoon, with every action scene being incredibly engrossing to watch. It also makes good use of CGI, which makes me glad it wasn't 100% influenced by Berserk. While there are times where it's clearly CG, it still fits the scene enough to not distract from what's going on. Other times, I'm not even completely sure if it's 2D or not. To go back to the action scenes, the fight choreography is simply fantastic. Every encounter, whether it be a huge fight like Trevor vs. Alucard, or a small one like Trevor versus the guy from the church whose eye he whips out, they're all so exciting and enthralling. I hated having to turn away from the TV every time I went to type up a note. Oh, and the fan service is just perfect. Everything feels natural, and nothing ever felt like the creators were going, "Look, it's the thing you like!" If only other modern video game adaptations could take a hint from this show.
The town of Green Hill. Oh my god, the Sonic movie cannot be real.
While it definitely hurt to find the journey was over almost as soon as it began, the fact that episode 1 is only 4 episodes long, I feel was a good thing in the end. It allowed for an overall more focused product with a quality that surpasses its contemporaries. However, this doesn't mean the show is absolutely perfect. I do have a few issues with it. While the animation is usually great, there is the occasional scene that looks off due to awkward mouth movement or limited animation. Another issue I had is, weirdly enough, just with episode 1. I don't know if it's the fault of the sound mixing or if it was intended and they took it a bit too far, but both Dracula and the Bishop can be too soft-spoken and thus end up being kinda hard to hear. But like I said, it's only a problem with episode 1, leaving the rest of the season perfectly hearable. Let's also not forget the fact that season 1 still ends very abruptly, even if I do think its short length was a good thing. It left everyone with a 1.5 year long wait for season 2, and that's just fucked up. There should have been more of this show, like, I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm snapping, I fucking need more. I need more. And that's it. Those are my problems with season 1. Like I said, I only have a few issues with it, and even then, I think the animation thing is kinda nitpicking. Castlevania is without a doubt the best video game adaptation ever made. Not only is it almost perfect from a production standpoint, but it expands upon the game in ways Konami has never done. Hopefully season 2 meets my expectations and continues the level of quality the first season set.
And hopefully, just as you're reaching this part of the video, I'll be on my lunch break watching the first episode. If you like this video, make sure to comment and leave a like, let me know what you think. If you want to see more, subscribe, click the bell, check out my other videos. And yeah, remember, I'll be streaming Red Dead Redemption 2 this Saturday, October 27th, a day after everyone else has already started doing that. Yay work! Anyway, this has been Jack's Back of Macca. I am Macca, and I'll see you guys next time for whatever the hell I end up doing next. The town of Green Hill. Oh my god, what is Sega doing? And don't get me started on the fucking Monster Hunter movie. Jesus Christ.